This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon.
My name is Nate.
And we want to wish everyone Work Like a Dog Day.
Work like a dog day. What kind of dog?
Every dog works hard, except for Chihuahuas, right? No, we won't single out Chihuahuas. Where does that phrase come from? Work like a dog. You always hear it, but what does it mean?
Because I've seen a lot of dogs that don't do anything all day long.
Our dogs have become, what would you say? Love dogs, not dissing dogs here.
Yes.
But comparatively, from what dogs used to be, let's even say 100 years ago, and there's still dogs that are working hard, herding sheep,
pulling sleds through the
pulling
snow,
sleds, tracking down birds and game,
chasing bad guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of dogs that do some good work, but there's also a lot of dogs that are
bombs.
There's a lot of dogs that do good work. And so this is no slight to dogs at all, but they're also your typical dog that probably looks more like a cat today, right? Like they just kind of lounge around, chill. They're there for you when you need them. They provide emotional support, whatever, but they're not really working. And that's okay, because some dogs you get for work and some dogs you just want to have around and just be your best buddy. And I think all in all, most dogs, if you ask them to work, even if that work is to be there for you and give you some attention, they're happy to provide that. I haven't met a lot of dogs that aren't happy to be there for you. Man's best friend for a reason.
Yes.
But 100%. I would assume Work Like a Dog comes from those sled pulling dogs that they're putting in the work.
They're working dogs. Have you seen those videos of people watching like dogs do amazing things or working hard, and then like an owner of a regular dog like looks at their dog like,
yeah, like what are you doing?
Anyways, yeah, what are you doing? But the dog looks at them and shows them videos of amazing athletes going like, "What are you doing, owner?"
That's fair. That's a fair point.
But yeah, I do love dogs, and dogs can work hard.
They can work hard if you require it of them. Yeah. So shout out to dogs. I wanted to do this one because I think it also highlights the organization we're talking with today, Tiny Tim's Foundation. I think anybody that walks in there, whether you're a volunteer or you are these people putting in the work for the foundation, I think they all work like dogs in the true sense of the word. So
they work their tails off.
They work their tails off. It is a big year for Tiny Tim's as they're celebrating this whole year, their 30th anniversary. Maybe we should have lined this up a little bit better with what they got coming up in November, which might be the true anniversary itself. But we wanted to highlight them as they've got a car show going on this weekend at their shop and hear about this awesome organization if you never have. So let's take a listen to our interview. All right. So today we're with Emily Johnson, and she's been nice enough to come on and talk with us about Tiny Tim's. So Emily, could you give us let us know who you are and your involvement in this great organization.
Yeah. I'm Emily Johnson. I am the granddaughter of the founders, Alton and Cheryl Thacker. So they started this. We're actually celebrating our 30th year. And so I was in high school when they started doing this, and I have been involved kind of from the beginning. Myself, my cousins, friends, we were some of the first Eagle projects and would go help Grandma and Grandpa in the garage, starting, when I was a kid, and I've just been involved ever since to some degree or another.
Yeah. So what is your current position with Tiny Tim's?
Currently, I am the executive director.
Okay.
So kind of
running the whole show, basically.
Yeah, running the show. So we have managers in the shop that kind of make sure that the process and progress of the toy cars is happening, and that's all done by volunteers. And we have volunteer managers who, greet everyone and make sure that they are all there. And I'm just running the whole thing to make sure that everyone's where they're supposed to be. The volunteers know what to do, and supplies are there. And I run the email, the website, the fundraising, the development, kind of keeping all the pieces going together.
So it's not just open the shop. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. And that's kind of like, that's why I tell everybody how I kind of got involved, because that's how it started. It was just grandma and grandpa, and we saw a need for these little toy cars. We started out as a humanitarian organization, doing medical things like so many people do, and so many of the organizations that we work with today. But we just discovered that it was bigger, that these kids needed the toys. And that's what my grandparents loved to do. They were making the toys, they were making the quilts, they were making my grandma sewed for the kids, and my grandpa made the toys. And he came to me one day, my grandpa, and he said, somebody wants to email me something. Emily, what's an email? And so I created an email for him and started taking care of that side of things. And he'd say, should I figure out how to do this? No, it's okay, grandpa, I got it. You go make the toys, and then he said, somebody wants a website. They want to know more about this. I'd like to just talk to them, but they want a website. What's that? So I worked up a little website for him, and over the years it's progressed until it's become a big thing. And what was just a few of us helping grandpa in the garage, pretty soon became 20 people that were helping in the garage. And now we've got over 100 regular volunteers who come on a regular basis. And so it's a full-fledged organization. I love the opportunity when I get to go in and just sit down at a machine and make a toy car, or paint faces for a while, or sew a quilt for somebody. But a lot of my time is spent keeping the organization going. I have to do the fundraising, I have to do the events, I have to do the website and the emails and the texts and all of that kind of stuff, so that it continues to run and can be there for those who are coming in and making the toys and making the quilts. That was a long explanation.
No, that was great. What does that look like? How do you keep the ball rolling? Like, how do you prospect, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to find fundraising opportunities or people who want to donate and help? Is it just to the website that you built, or are people reaching out to you often to say, hey, we want to help? Or what's your day-to-day to help bring in business, I guess? Not really business, but help. Does that make sense? I mean,
it kind of is a business, right? I have to run it and look at it like it is a business. And so we try to be diverse in the ways that we're doing it. But with every email that goes out, with every group that comes in, we just have to tell them we're a nonprofit. And if you can help us in any way that you can, that helps us to keep doing what we do. If everybody gives a little bit, then we can continue to do what we do. And when that money dries up, then we don't exist here anymore. And so with every volunteer, every contact that comes through, we just kind of put that message out there. We have a couple of car shows coming up. One of them will be at our toy shop, and that's kind of with, come and see our shop, see what we do, get volunteers in the door, as well as raise funds to keep it going. We'll sell auction items. A lot of the men and women who work for the toy shop build other amazing, beautiful wood things, cutting boards, signs, jewelry, or ornaments, Christmas ornaments, all kinds of things. And we auction those things off as part of that funding. And then Big Kid Custom Rides puts on another car show. They're an amazing car rebuilder. They make tools with Big Kid blocks, and they make custom cars, and they have been generous. This will be our third annual car show that they will put on for us as a way to raise funds for us as well. And they are just amazing to put on a great show and help raise funds that way.
And that car show, the first one at your location is this Saturday, August 8th. And then the second one is August 15th, right? So, yeah. And the one on Saturday, that's in conjunction with your guys' actual anniversary. Am I correct?
Yeah, we're just kind of all year celebrating our 30th anniversary. And so every opportunity we
Okay.
get just to spread that word. We're celebrating 30 years this year. And so we'll have another big party in November. But yeah, this 30th year, yeah, we're just celebrating all year long. And so our car show will be in West Jordan at our toy shop to bring people in and let them celebrate then.
Okay. We've talked a lot about kind of what goes on, but can you tell us? Guess we really have got into what exactly Tiny Toons is. Where did this all come from?
Yeah, so we started out, my grandma worked for an ophthalmologist, and they would take glasses, that don't quite fit the same, prescription or whatever. You've seen that where people donate their old glasses, and they would take them down and fit them to people in different towns in Mexico, and with this ophthalmologist. And while they were there, they were working with a couple who worked with this ophthalmologist on the Mexico border side of things, and they just said there's so much more that these people need. And so my grandparents ended up building a hospital, and they would every couple months take more doctors down, and they would fix cleft palates, they would do other dental work, they would fix clubbed feet, they would fix cataracts, some of these major things that the people down there just didn't have access to, do these kinds of things. And like I said, a lot of organizations that we still work with start in kind of a similar way, where there's just this medical need. Kids need food, they need shelter, they need medicine, right? And it was while we were there, we started visiting with people, and somebody had given us a toy very similar to the ones we make now. And my grandma handed it to a cute little girl, and then they just watched as this girl just was, first of all, she was shocked, like, this is for me, and what do I do with this? And one at a time she made the little wheels turn, and then eventually she just hugged this car and she rubbed it across her tummy and made all the wheels go, and she just was so thrilled. And in talking with her parents, it was her first and only toy, the only toy that she had ever received. And for so many in the world, they just don't have the money, they don't have access to them, they can't purchase them if they did have the money. And we discovered there are 500 million children in the world, just like her, who've never had a toy. So we added that onto the medical humanitarian stuff that we were already doing. We started making these toy cars. In the beginning, it was 300 toy cars. And then we started sewing quilts for the people. They needed the quilts, and that's what my grandma loved to do, was to sew quilts. And they would do Eagle Scout projects and make the cars, make the quilts. And pretty soon we had other people come and join us. We had one man who was one of the original founders who came to us. He said he was a reporter for CNN World News Report and went to war-torn countries, says, I've seen the world. I've seen these kids where they've just never had the toy, or where their world is torn apart. And if they had one, they don't have one now, and they sure need a reason to smile. And so he helped make them. He wanted to deliver. He said, I'll help you make them if I can deliver some too. And then others came, and they just said, hey, we're just sitting home. We don't want to just sit here. We've just retired, kind of a thing. And they started making them with us too. And so that's how it kind of grew. And from there, it's the toys, but it's also, we still make the quilts. We make baby receiving blankets and put those in a kit for a newborn baby. We do lots of school kits in so many of these countries that we support. They don't get to go to school unless they can afford to pay tuition. They have to usually buy a uniform that they have to make, or that they have to wear. And then they have to take their own supplies. We have pictures of kids. They carry a brick with them to school, and that's what they get to sit on. And they do their math in the dirt. And that's it. That's their classroom. And so we have partnered with people who build schools and get them their school supplies, and anything you can do to help send a kid to school and get them that education.
It's pretty neat. I think sometimes we take for granted everything, all the resources we have here. I say living in Utah or United States for that matter. But yeah, like I said, it's just amazing how we forget sometimes how much we really do have. Even if you're not in the top 1% of the United States, you still have a lot more than
a lot more.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
So how Tiny Tim? Why Tiny Tim? Where did that name come from?
Yeah. So I mean, there's the obvious, A Christmas Carol, where the cute
Okay.
Christmas little child is named Tim, right? He's called Tiny Tim. But more than that, one of the son of the couple in Mexico that my grandparents first started working with had adopted a child with cerebral palsy whose name was Tim. And so we're truly named for him, Tiny Tim.
It's a dual meaning. That's pretty cool. You guys have, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and say my grandpa tells a story of, waking up suddenly in the middle of the night as soon as they developed themselves as a foundation that they just kind of struggled. What are we going to be? What are we going to be? And it was in the middle of the night. He sat straight up and said, "That's it, Tiny Tim." So anyway.
I like it.
And I first heard about Tiny Tim's, oh man, it was probably 10 or so years ago. So you guys had already been around for a while, but kind of similar to what you said, my great uncle, he'd retired. So he was going in and volunteering at the shop pretty frequently. And then he'd always bring for the kids at like the family Christmas party, he'd bring the toys, the cars. So we've always had the cars rolling around in our house. You guys have a very unique look, so easily recognizable once you see it.
Yeah.
And when I was I went and did for my first time, went to your shop a few weeks or maybe a few months ago, and I saw that you have a map of where I guess all the cars have made it to, or at least wherever you've had an impact with your organization. Can you tell us a little bit about that and any stats on the amount of countries you've been into or anything like that?
Yeah. We do. We put that big old map up there, and there's a flag on each of the countries that we've been into that we know of for sure. And so we're up to 118 countries that we've been to. And it's possible there's a few more out there. A lot of the ones that we send them to go with Operation Christmas Child, and they send them in shoe boxes all over the world. So it's possible we've missed some, which is exciting to think it's in even more, but at least 118 countries. And we have made 1.8 million toys. So we anticipate that next year we will reach 2 million toys that we have that we have made in the last 30 years. So.
And you said 500 million kids go without toys. So there's a lot of work still to be done, right?
Yeah. I compare it to, the story of the man on the beach who's throwing out the starfish, putting them back in the ocean. And why would you do that? You can't get all of them. Well, but it makes a difference to the one. And so we've made a difference to almost 2 million kids, and we've got a lot of work to do, but we're going to keep going and get as much as we can.
Yeah, I love that because, I mean, you think about it, people automatically go to, okay, they need food, they need water, they need medical. Those are the things that people are prioritizing. I don't think anyone thinks, these kids want to play too. They want to have some fun. And we're kind of on the heels of just another Toy Story movie coming out. Everybody resonates with the toys and playing. And I think you guys are scratching an itch that a lot of people are not paying attention to, right? You're looking for just that pure joy that comes with play, and the kids actually get to have something that functions and that they can really enjoy. So I think it's really quite noble.
I think we forget, like the little boy in Toy Story, that, they have so many toys and the toys can get together and, and eventually in one of them, the mom's throwing the toys out. And that's kind of our American view of it, right? Like I make my kids get rid of toys every Christmas to make room for new ones. And
just take them to the DI. Next batch.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why we're trying to get them out of the US, out to where they literally don't have any of those. And, so many of the organizations that we give to, like I say, they did start that way. We send a huge shipping container to Mongolia every year full of these toys, and to Zimbabwe and to Ghana. We just send them to Nigeria, and with big groups in Honduras, and they go in these big containers, and along with them are always the school kits and the blankets, and the food, the medical supplies. But as each of those big organizations, they've come back to us, and they started with the medical, and because we need food and shelter and medicine. but they've all come to us and said, but this toy is the key. Without this toy, the kids don't have any hope. They've nothing. Why would I get better? What else is there for me? I get better just so I can do this again. But if they have hope and I get better so I can play with this toy, so I can have some joy and some fun in my life. The toys, I mean, they bring the development, they bring, yeah, the happiness. It's that missing piece that, because on the hierarchy of needs, love is on there. And
Right.
so it absolutely has to be there. There's one little boy, a story has come back from Zimbabwe recently where he took the little window hole. And everyone asks us, why do you have that little window hole in there? It could just be a solid car, right? But kids put strings in it. They've put sticks in it so they can drive them out in front of them. They can pull them along behind. And this little boy had put a shorter string in it and he would wear it around like a necklace. He said, for two reasons. I always know where it is. I do not want to lose this thing. So when my hands are busy, I can put it around my neck and I know I've got it with me. But he said, then I can look down and there it is. And it reminds me that somebody loves me. Well, there you go. That's the reason to make him right there.
I agree. So how does volunteering work? That, like, if I want to come help out, how would that look?
Right now, we do have everyone call in or email or text and kind of schedule it. We can only have so many people at one time. We only have so many stations, and so we kind of keep a calendar and a schedule to ensure that we don't burst at the seams and people don't have enough to do. So we do schedule like that. If there's just a couple of you, you can pop in, and we always have a seat or two. If you're going to bring several of you, then or a large group, we can accommodate anything from 2 to even up to 60 people in a group at a time. 20 is a good number. Anything less than 20 is easy to accommodate, but we've done really large groups. We also have a take-home project. You can sign up for that online, and we give away so many boxes every week that need to be sanded by hand and oiled. And that's an easy project that anybody 3 to 103 can do. And you can sign up and be able to do that on your own time with any size group. And so it's about a 20-step process. And so depending on your age and your ability and how many people you have with you at a time, we can put you to work doing any of the various steps through calling or signing up online.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to Do the Work, Stay the Course, No Shortcuts, the podcast for people who are serious about building something real. From business and leadership to accountability and personal development, this show cuts through the noise and focuses on what actually works: discipline, consistency, and execution. No hype, no gimmicks, just the mindset and habits required to operate at a higher level. If you're ready to stop looking for shortcuts and start building momentum the right way, listen to Do the Work, Stay the Course, No Shortcuts, anywhere you get your podcasts. Let's get to work.
Here you go, Nate. If you need another Elders Corn project.
Yes. We actually just lost 2 of our full-time bandsaw cutters. We had 2 men who were coming in 4 hours, 3 days a week, putting a lot of time in, and they're both gone now. And so we are looking for bandsaw cutters, which is not the easiest machine to just jump in on. A lot of the machines we can train you, would be happy to train you how to use machines. This one's a little trickier and people lose fingers. So it's a smaller niche of who can do that.
And you guys have a book coming out, is that correct?
Yeah, we've written our first children's book that tells the story of the toy maker and how the little cars come to life at night when he's locked up the toy shop, and how they have their best adventure learning what the secret of happiness is. That'll be out this fall in celebration at our fall open house.
Cool. Are you still taking votes on the cover, or is the voting ended since you're kind of
voting has ended? Yep, we're
right
into production and voting has ended, but we're looking for people who want to help make that happen. You can for $1,000 donation, we'll be able to give you 50 books that have your name or company's name in it, and we'll send those out with the boxes of toy cars and promote, the literacy along with the toy cars, and let you be a part of that. And in doing so, it helps to make the production of it happen.
Oh, very cool.
So,
can you tell us what the cover was, or is that privileged information up until the release?
Oh, no, I don't think it's privileged information. It was a really close tie between the hands with the little blue. I don't have pictures of them with me right here, but the hands with the little blue toy car and representations of all the countries and the wood shop kind of scattered on a wood background, that just kind of are the hands that are giving this cute little blue toy car away. And that was tied closely with the suitcase. There was a picture of the toy maker with the suitcase and the cars just coming out of the suitcase and going all over the world. And so we're going to put that one on the back cover so that it's still there.
Okay.
and lets people know, like, this is the secret. They go everywhere and they bring love and happiness.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So outside of the car show and the book release, is there anything else on the radar that's coming out or event or newsworthy to talk about?
Yeah, big things happening. Yeah, car show, and then we're going to have another big purchase every year. That the biggest, most expensive thing for us is buying the screws that hold the wheels onto the cars, and so we've got to have a big fundraiser for buying those screws. And then we'll have our open house and our book release, and there'll be more of the 30th year, really trying to gather everybody who's been a part of this. So many people, like Brandon and others, they've heard about this so many years, and they were the Eagle Scouts that helped this 30 years ago. And we want everybody there to come and celebrate. And so if you've ever, been a part of this in making the toy cars over the last 30 years and giving the toy cars out in, the hospitals at other countries, anywhere, we want everybody there in November to really celebrate the whole life of, the last 30 years of this foundation.
Yeah. And I think our big, call out would be, if you haven't had a chance to go by and volunteer, it's not too far. A lot of our listeners probably in Salt Lake County, so it's just in West Jordan off of Airport Road. Pretty easy to find. So, reach out, pop in, and you can see where the magic happens.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. We do a lot of delivering to others. I'm working with a few organizations as far as California and New Jersey and North Carolina that have all wanted so badly to be a part of this and do the service that we even ship parts out to other people. And I do a lot in Utah County. I live down in Utah County. So between Salt Lake County and Utah County, and an amazing couple who lives up in Ogden, we kind of can cover the whole area. If you're willing to do the take home project and do something in your location, we can help get it to you. But it's really a magical experience to come into the toy shop and to see the whole thing, 20 steps, why we do it, the pictures of the cute kids and the reason that we do this, and just the whole spirit and the joy and camaraderie that the regulars experience in being part of somewhere they get to belong. So yeah, so come on down and see what we do and help make a toy car.
Yeah, make it. You can always donate. And then
Yes.
if it's too far away, it sounds like easy to, if you're in Utah County, maybe you can take a couple kids for someone, meet them down there, right?
Yep.
So lots of ways to get involved. Nate as well. You need to get out there and get involved somehow.
Yeah, it's just down the road for me. So
yeah.
No excuse. You got to come on over. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we're excited to see the events you got coming up the rest of this year, and the continued growth and awesome work you guys will do in the world for years, another 30 years to come.
Yeah. We, I didn't think it would be me necessarily that took it over. I always imagined one of my uncles or aunts would be the one, but it meant so much to my grandparents, and it brought so much joy to so many. And now I walk into that toy shop, and I don't just have one grandma and grandpa that started it. I've got 80 grandmas and grandpas who are there, and special needs adults who come in, and this is their job. This is the thing they get to do, and it's so thrilling and so just rewarding to be able to see the difference that they are making in the life of a child, and the difference it makes in their life too. And it's really a magical place.
So as I mentioned, I first heard about Tiny Tim's many years ago. My uncle introduced us, and he spent many hours there up until his health decline, or when he was unable to do it anymore. I took the young men over. I some of the young men had already gone, because I live like 5 minutes maybe from if that. I could easily walk here, ride my bike there, whatever. So the young men had gone, some of them. It was my first time actually being able to go, and it was a really cool experience. I got to do the drill. So they've got like, I think it was the holes for the cars themselves where you put the wheels. I got to drill the holes in there. So yeah, there's a very fine-tuned process to how you do that, and the steps that you go through to make the cars. That was what I was assigned. Sometimes you'll be sanding, sometimes you'll be painting. But either way, strongly recommend you take a look at it, check it out, because yeah, it's best to get outside of yourself every once in a while, right? Do something to give back. And this is a great way to do it.
I agree. And I've heard about the place before. I've seen a few news stories they've done over the years about Tiny Tim's, but I've never been to volunteer. So looks like I got some work to do.
Got to do it, Nate.
And really not a lot of excuses, since it's not super far away from me, like you just said.
Yeah. I mean, you can find their stuff on Just Serve as well. I've seen them pop up on that website. But I mean, I think the easiest way, you can just call in and say, hey, I want to come. Or when that's
what I didn't know either. I didn't know it was just like, you can just say, hey, can I come volunteer for a few hours? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty easy to get involved. When I originally reached out, I think we were like a week out. So I was like, I doubt they're going to be able to accommodate us. But they're like, yeah, we've got a little bit of room. We can get you in. If not, we'll get you the cars, and you can, take it back to your, church building or whatever, and you can do the take home. But they were able to fit us in, accommodate us. The lady came out and opened the shop up just for us. I don't know if it was just us for that day, but she came out of her way to get us in there. I think she said her name was Nikki. A great organization. They're on the online. It says they're open 10 to 3, Tuesday through Thursday, Wednesday 10 to 6. But then evenings, just make an appointment. You can go in and get your service hours in.
I like it. But yeah, it's I feel like there's a lot of organizations, probably with the church in particular, that are always looking for service stuff. So I'm surprised I'm just finding out about this now, after living where I live for 20 years and needing to come up with service activities for the last 20 years. So glad I know now. But Brandon, I guess I'm upset at you for just barely letting me know about this opportunity.
I'm sorry.
All these service hours that could have been rendered over the last 2 years.
I should have let you know how good of a deal it is to just go and get this done, and you get your blessings and your service hours.
Yes.
This is a deal.
The deal. But yeah, I think it sounds like a great opportunity for the youth to, or even just the congregations to, they're always looking for service projects, especially on Christmas. This would be great Christmas one too, right? It has to do with toys.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So, yeah.
Check it out. Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
And this was a place we just talked about.